More live builds. This time we're going to build something that requires a conversation that happens outside of Cursor. So what we're going to do is build out the same project health monitor from previous video and get it to instead post and communicate with the user in Slack. So this came from the Watcher, which I'm building over time. And the prompt was to extend the project health monitor to post to Slack. And these are the requirements, and this was the initial shape and design that it was going to build, which I absolutely hated. So I decided to just go in and change that for myself, because the way that AI deals with Slack notifications is the most autistic, epilepsy-inducing thing of all time. So what I did was created red tasks and yellow tasks, gave it an example message structure, and had it do that. Okay, I'm going to remove somebody's Slack because I don't want it to start assaulting me and anybody else that would be in here. But we go again where we start off in plan mode on Sonnet 4.5, and then we go into agent mode in Opus 4.5, but we read all of the context and all of the conversations as they occur. So let's run this and see how it works. So now it's going to ask me a couple of questions about how I want to build the thing. And the very first thing is, we're just going to wait for it. It's probably going to give me a couple of questions in a second, but we'll just wait. Interestingly enough, this just went and created the plan immediately. Now, this is worth looking into simply because if I don't get any information from this through questioning, then I have to go in and double check it myself. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. So this actually wasn't a horrible plan, and I'm kind of unaware of how it's going to look. So I'm going to be able to iterate on it 100% when I can see from what the Slack app gives me exactly how this looks. But for now, the only thing that I want to change is the fact that it mentioned it's going to give me how to run manually or schedule as an idea of something that's going to have a conversation with me now, back and forth about. I want to have that conversation now. And for me, that just means scheduling the posts on Sunday to Friday evenings at 9:30 p.m. London time, because I plan my days in the evenings before my work days. So that's what I'm going to do now. And it actually is going to ask me some questions. So how would you like to schedule the daily Slack notifications? Cron jobs, which runs in the background automatically. Python scheduler script, you'd need to keep it running 24/7. Or just show me how to run it manually. I'll schedule myself later. Well, I plan on deploying this. So how would that work? I'm just going to write that down. So I've just asked it, I plan on deploying this. Which one makes the most sense in this case? So it's thinking and thinking and thinking. I'm going to read the thinking in this case, actually. Yes, we know it's going to use Modal. Oh, it's going to, okay. So it's asking which scheduling method, working on a project that I'll just continue reading what's going to talk about right now. Now, I believe this is going to handle deployment as well as the individual understanding of, what's meant to happen here. Now, it's already got modal app.py inside of just marketing workflows, and I'm working in operations workflows right now. So what it's going to do is it's most likely going to take the example of a previous successful Modal implementation and then just copy and paste that over. Now, Modal is pretty easy to use in the first place. And the way that this Claude MD file is set up is such that it will basically give you what you need in order to do what you need to do inside of Modal without much issues. And the entire setup process there is something that you can prompt back and forth with Cursor in order to get this sorted. And even if you run into any problems, it's a better solution than Vercel, Railway, or what are some of the other ones as well? Trigger.dev. I haven't tried Trigger.dev as much as I would like to have tried it, but it's not as easy to set up as this one anyways. So here's what's happened in the first place. It's updated the plan, it's added some new additions, including a Modal deployment file, scheduling details, which is a cron job, and then deployment instructions, which is how to set up Modal secrets and deploy. Now, what it's going to do, so the plan now includes 6 files to create/update instead of 5, ready to execute whenever. Can I handle or can we handle this locally? And then once we've iterated on the message, I do this in deployment. So I've just put this one down. So we'll see exactly what it's going to do then. Yep, saying that this is a smarter approach. Get it working locally first, test and iterate, and then deploy when you're happy with it. It's going to now update the plan. It's probably going to remove that to do, and then maybe add it as a phase 2. Yep, exactly. So then phase 1, which is right now, and then phase 2, which is later. Once phase 1 works, it'll probably end up saying, hey, do you want to try this now, or is it good enough to start with deployment? So that's what it's going to end up doing. And it's now making some final edits to the plan. I think this is pretty good to go anyways. So I'm just going to have the agent run it as the next step. Yep. So everything looks good. All good to go. Let's build it. We're now in agent mode. We're going to change it from Sonnet 4.5 to Opus 4.5 and then click run. And now it's going to take this build and it's going to run through absolutely everything in here. So the first thing it's going to do when you add an endpoint that is, for example, a place to talk to the agent that you're running, is it will create a client.py file, which just handles posting the project reports in this case and doing a bunch of other things as well. Now, the only reason why I'm mentioning this now is because it makes changes to all of your other different projects. And it's usually going to add a couple of lines saying you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this. The reason why that's important to have an understanding of is that if you don't get this working right here, and then you immediately go to make an integration, the problems that you'll run into is you'll end up getting into a situation where something will break, and when you decide to connect a new connector, you will compound on the breakage. So getting everything right up front is the most important thing that you can do before you decide to add any different avenues or gateways to interact with or send and receive messages to and from the agentic workflows that you're making inside of Cursor. So this here is everything. We have the summary. It's created 2 new files and asking me what I need to do next. Now, this here is where the actual Slack in development occurs. And these are the actions that I would need to do. Now, step 1 is to go to install the Slack SDK. I'm basically just going to say, hey, go and do this for me. I'm not doing this myself. Step 2, add the Slack credentials to your .env file. So now I need to go to api.slack.com/apps, create a new Slack app, add the chat write scope and install to the workspace, copying said bot token. And then I'll most likely have to go in and I'll make another Slack channel ID in order to get this sorted. So here is a quick rundown of exactly how to do that. I've made a number of different types of video which describe exactly how to set up Slack apps, but we'll do this again from scratch here. We can make this really, really quick. Here is a Slack API. I've already got a bunch of different apps here, just doing a bunch of different things. A lot of them are built by me. Some of them are built by other clients, X, Y, and Z. But all you need to do in all of these cases, you can have as many apps as you want. Just create a new app from scratch. This one here, I'm going to call operating workflows. I'm going to put this in my space. And then the next step is going to be to create the permissions. So I'll go over here down to OAuth and permissions. And then once I've gotten to OAuth and permissions, you'll see that there's a redirect URL. You can see that there's scopes as well, bot token and user token scopes. We only want bot token scopes because we're talking about bot stuff here. And the only thing that we need right now is chat write. It's the only one that we need, which means that I believe we've done absolutely everything that we need in order to get this working insofar as adding the scopes. So now okay, there we go. Install to Icarus Growth is going to be the next step. So I'll click on this right here. And then it's going to say, allow this app access to Slack. It's going to perform actions in channels and conversations. I'll just click allow. And then it will give me a token that I can use, which is right over here. So that one here, I will copy. And then that is going to be, I believe that's going to be one of the tokens that I need to check. I'm going to quickly go into Cursor and just confirm that that is exactly what I need to do. Yep, it's the XOXB Slack bot token. Your token goes here, and then it's the Slack channel ID that's also going to be needed as well. So I would have to click into the .env file and then add those. So we've updated the .env file and I've changed over a couple of things inside of Slack, including creating something called the Project Health Monitor chat, which you can see right here. So what I've been able to do as well is give it the channel ID and also give it a Slack bot token. And then I basically said I called the Slack channel ID in the .env file Project Health Monitor Slack channel ID, because I will in the future want to use the agents to post different messages in different channels. Let's make the necessary changes here, and then rerun it. So that should give me all the stuff that I need in order to build everything here. Says, yep, that makes sense. Better naming for when you have multiple Slack integrations. And now it's going to connect everything over to Slack. And it's going to start sending messages in via here. So updated. Now let's run it. It's running the command. And it's telling me Python isn't found. All right. We're going to pause this and then we'll show you what the output looks like. And like I thought, the bot needed to be invited into the channel in order for this to work. This is the case with basically every single thing that I've done inside of basically every automation I even do for clients. So I would need to add operations workflows. And that is going to, once I tag it, it's going to tell me you mentioned blank, but they're not in the private channel. So we're going to add them. And then we can then just go, they were not in the channel, rerun it. And then this is going to do what it needs to do in order to build out exactly what I'm looking for. And it looks like we have a gigantic set of tasks for the red and for the yellow. Now, based on a couple of things that I know insofar as how things work, just specifically to me, that there's a couple of things that I would change simply because of the order in which the tasks are coming up. That's also a really hard to look at and hard to use block of information. So there's going to be some amendments and some iterations that I would need to think on. I'm actively going to use that anyways. And the way that that's been run, absolutely perfect. It's just going to, at every single moment, it should run again basically in 2 hours. At every single moment, it should basically tell me, okay, this is the stuff that needs to be done, stuff that needs to be prioritized. It's also the foundation of a back and forth conversation that can be had, where I can dive deeper into why certain things are the way that they are and get a better understanding as to, from not just the Airtable in and of itself, but also like Slack channels and Fathom recordings, why certain things are where they are. Maybe they haven't been updated, or we haven't received certain bits of information because we're still blocked on them, or they've been left in X, Y, and Z stage because they've actually been actioned, but they haven't been moved, or someone's just being lazy. So essentially that's where things are going there. But that is how you would send information from one of these agent builds into, or these agentic workflow builds into a Slack message. So I hope you enjoyed. I hope you can see exactly what's required. It's not too hard. The only things you need to make sure that you're aware of is api.slack.com/apps, because that is the place where all of the bot management occurs, and anything that you're going to do insofar as an agent that you can speak back and forth with is also going to be managed directly through there. So hope you enjoyed. There's going to be some more videos about how to build different things for your business, and this is one of the things that I do for companies in and of themselves, where I basically remove the founders from being a single point of failure to where they're spending way more time in their zone of genius as opposed to what they're doing on a day-to-day basis, putting out fires and doing a bunch of different admins. So there's a bunch of videos on 10xing your client capacity if you're a business owner and you're watching this right now, and I'll put a playlist somewhere so that you can see exactly where to go to that video.